What's up, Spartan Nation? It's Jacob Katzenegger back for another episode of the Michigan State Spartans Insider Podcast. It is now Saturday, November 1st. Game day now for the Spartans once again. Trying to snap this 5-game losing streak. Got a chance to do it against Minnesota, who has been great at home, but doesn't seem to be getting too much respect from Vegas and the computers and such. They're 5-0 at home. 0-3 on the road, but this game's in Minneapolis, so you can kind of throw the road stats out for them. But they're 3-2 in Big Ten play. MSU's 0-5, of course, trying to avoid the first 0-6 Big Ten start since that would be 2016, which obviously probably didn't hurt as much, given that that was 1 year removed from the college football playoff appearance for MSU. Obviously, no such thing now here for Michigan State. Year 2, Jonathan Smith. If they lose, I would not. I'd stay checking Twitter a little bit on Sunday. We'll see, though. But I already gave my prediction on this game. I predicted, it's on the record already, Minnesota 24, Michigan State 13 is my guess. Got real close with the Michigan game. It said 31-21 Michigan. Obviously, Michigan State only had 20 points. The second time this year I've gotten the opponent right for Michigan State, but have just missed the Spartans' point total. I think it was the Nebraska game. I said 38-24. It was 38-27. So again, it was either that, something like that. I was off by just a couple of points for MSU. But for now, let's take a look at this game. We'll see why I think Minnesota is going to win. And where Michigan State can maybe have opportunities in this game. But really, I think it just comes down to that Minnesota's offense is not good. It's probably worse than Michigan State's, even though they're 5-3. They don't really score points. Against FBS teams, the most they've had is 31. So it's been a struggle. Like, they have 66 points against an FCS team. You exclude that, the best they've done is 31 points against Rutgers, and that was a home game. Other home games, 23 points against Buffalo. That was their season opener. 27 against Purdue, one of the only really comparable teams for Michigan State, I guess, in the Big Ten in terms of just how not great they are, and 24 against Nebraska. So if they're 5-3, that kind of implies that the defense is working. It's been up and down, but when their defense is good, it's real good. 10 points allowed to Buffalo. More FBS. 28 allowed to Rutgers. Still won that game. They're coming off of a bad game defensively. 41 points to Iowa. They allowed 42 to Ohio State, which that's probably about average. For an average performance for a defense against how good the Buckeyes are. But only allowed 6 points in their last home game to Nebraska, and 20 points in the home game before that to Purdue. And again, Michigan State's offense is just not working right now. Last 3 games, if you want to exclude garbage time, it depends on what your definition of garbage time, but I'd maybe, because they scored it was 38-7 going into the fourth against UCLA, which kind of is garbage time, I guess, that entire quarter, but not, Michigan State scored a touchdown on one of the first plays of the fourth quarter, so I guess I'll count that for them. But 13 points basically against UCLA. You exclude the field goal against Indiana with about 30 seconds left, 10 points against them, and then really 13 points against Michigan because they scored a touchdown with 7 or 8 seconds left. So, yeah, they're not putting up points at all, and this is a tough defense to do it against. Again, even if you exclude the shutout they had against an FCS opponent, at home they're allowing 16 points per game. And again, they've played better offenses at home than what Michigan State has got right now. Again, especially lately, it's just not been great. Again, Michigan State is 108th in total offense, scoring-wise, 77th in the FBS, so just not where they should be or really can be. I still, given what they did in the offseason, I thought this offense had plenty of potential. It has underwhelmed, really, from USC on. They scored 27 against Nebraska, but that wasn't, I think they averaged 3.5 yards per play in that game, so the offense was just not really clicking there in that one too. So it's just since the USC game, even the USC game wasn't great. They just haven't had a great day offensively this entire season. So it's just that's been kind of maybe the more disappointing parts about the team this season, and part of the reason why I think they're 0-5 in Big Ten play is again the offense not scoring enough points. Defense, defense, I was less optimistic about what they did in the offseason through the portal and things like that. But I was not, I don't think anyone was expecting this defense to be really the worst in the Big Ten in terms of points allowed. They were better against Michigan, but when the best you've done through 5 Big Ten games is allowing 31 points, yeah, not doing great. You're really not looking great in that regard. We'll have to see what Joe Rossi does. I'm sure this game is, I wouldn't say personal to him because he left on his own accord from Minnesota to join the staff here at Michigan State. So it's not like you can do the revenge line when you left on your own. But still, I'm sure it's a little, you see your old team on there. It's a little extra special. So we'll see what he has dialed up for this game. They moved him down to the sideline from the booth. That seemed to have some extra juice for the defense against Michigan. I don't know if maybe that was just a Michigan, like, hey, we're playing Michigan type of thing. Because the team was there in terms of, I guess, understanding of the rivalry, I think. In terms of just the all-out effort on the field, I think they maybe took it a little too far, took some dumb penalties here and there in that game. But nonetheless, I thought, the effort's been there. Again, other than the UCLA game, I think they're really going for it. But I just don't think the team has enough. It's truly just not a Big Ten level roster. Again, they're 0-5 in Big Ten play. That's not, super controversial to say, but just a lot of guys who's, they're just kind of being out talented. I don't think they're not lining up correctly. That's something you've heard from the coaches all season. They're just not lining up correctly. It's either a coaching issue or maybe just the player, or maybe it's a player issue, So some of it has to fall on the players once in a while. Again, the coaching staff gets ragged on plenty and kind of for good reason. But, that's more of a discussion for maybe another time if and when, we see some decisions being made from Michigan State, maybe as soon as Sunday, after this game. Again, they lose this game, I would maybe have Pete Thamel notifications on for Twitter. So, that type of thing. So, yeah, nonetheless, though, again, it's tough to get super. It's just there's not, for a fan perspective. I'd understand if someone's just not excited right now for really any game. Obviously, no one's excited right now about the state of the program. But just like even for like this game, if you're just kind of watching it in the background, I'd kind of get it. There's no fun games left on the schedule. Like you thought maybe like when they played Penn State it would be kind of cool. Maybe before the season, maybe the team's doing well. They're looking for bowl eligibility. Or they're 5-3 or or 6-3 or something. And instead, it's just going to be two teams that are probably going to. Well, not really. Probably going to miss bowl games. I mean, MSU almost certainly is going to. Penn State's 3-4. Again, they've lost 4 straight. All their Big Ten games. They fired James Franklin after the Northwestern loss. They just had a bye. They have to play Ohio State today. And then they go play Indiana, and then they come to Michigan State. So good chance you're going to see 2, 3-6 teams in that one. If you told me that before the season, I would have called you crazy. Maybe not probably, but potentially 3-6 teams. Still think Penn State has the potential if they really bring it for a game. You never know. I don't know. What am I saying? Ohio State and Indiana are much better than Penn State. Nevertheless, though, there's still plenty. They were still number 2 preseason team for a reason. But still, like Minnesota's not an opponent that too many people are probably getting juiced up for. Penn State, not really, not this year. Iowa on the road, that's probably that's by far the toughest game remaining. I don't see them having much of a chance there. Then you end the year at Ford Field. It's Maryland. I mean, it could very well be the second time in 3 years you're going to have an interim staff playing a game already eliminated from bowl eligibility in Ford Field. So maybe that's not a tradition that Michigan State should start, having those types of games in Ford Field. But it's about it. We're on the verge here of Michigan State missing a bowl game for the 4th straight year. Obviously, things aren't really working with Jonathan Smith. And yeah, but still, I kind of gotten off the trail here a little bit, but still, Minnesota's offense is bad. I think if Michigan State wins this game, it's going to have to be like a low-scoring game. The defense plays great, and you just kind of steal it at the very end because, yeah, the numbers for Minnesota are not great offensively. 122nd in total offense. I believe that's the second worst in the Big Ten, probably behind Wisconsin. Scoring offense, 96th. They're worse than Michigan State on the offensive side of the ball. Only 24 points per game, basically. So I mean, yeah, I mean, if the defense can't stop Minnesota, I don't know who they're going to stop. That's kind of what I said when they played UCLA, when they kind of had that hot streak, apparently. But they didn't stop UCLA. 38 points in that game. But yeah, Drake Lindsey, young quarterback. He had a rough game against Iowa. I believe it was Iowa. He threw 3 picks, no touchdowns. Kind of had up and down. He's had some good stat lines on the year as well. Big thing to look for is the availability report. Is Darius Taylor going to play for Minnesota? He's been a great player when he's been available for Minnesota throughout his career. No super big weapons for Minnesota in the pass game. No wide receivers that have stats that truly stand out. There is one player, Javon Tracy, that Michigan State, I believe pursued in the portal and went to Minnesota. But again, defense for Minnesota is kind of everything. If you can find a way to maybe grab a lead at the beginning, call it 10-0 or something, you just go field goal, stop, touchdown. You kind of have them on their heels. That's kind of the type of game I think Michigan State needs if they want to go get their first Big Ten win. I think if you're forced to kind of play a close game all 60 minutes, I don't think I trust this team to go and pull one out because, well, Minnesota's pulled out a couple of close games this year. They won by 3 against Rutgers and by 7 against Purdue, and a big game nationally televised on a Friday night against Nebraska, who was ranked at the time, I believe. I'm almost certain. They beat them by 18, so they can definitely play up to their standards at home. So again, though, we'll see about it. I'll have my thoughts after the game. That'll go up on Sunday. But nevertheless, though, I'm Jacob Katzanika. Thank you for tuning in here, whether you're watching on YouTube, or let's say on Spotify or Apple Music. Thank you again for watching. Keep checking in here for all of our, more podcasts. Go to SpartanNation.com and Michigan State Spartans on SI for all of our written content. There will be plenty of it during and after the game. And I'll see you guys around.